All right, hello. You've been pulled into the black dimension. This is Kev, and with me is Roger and Dunny, and we are going to discuss our thoughts on the Tyson versus Jones event. As you know, this is Mike Tyson's first fight in over a decade, and I think that this is Roy Jones' first fight in a few years. Um, okay, spoiler alert. We're going to give away some results. And also, this isn't the only story that came this event. Um, and as you, of course, know, that there was also a fight between um, internet sensation Jake Paul. Yeah, well, I think he's a YouTuber, and NBA player. What is he? A current NBA player or a former NBA player? Nate,
Retired.
say what?
Retired.
Okay, retired. NBA player Nate Robinson, and the results of that fight went viral with lots of pictures and memes and such. And we're going to discuss all of that tonight. So, Donnie, what's going on, brother?
Man, just living my best life. Living my best life, yeah.
Yes, and long live the habitual line steppers.
Long live them nips.
All right. So, what did you think about the fight? Was
Jake Paul, Nate Robinson should have never happened.
it?
Um, should have absolutely never happened. There should have been a basketball game, who can catch the best pass game, but a boxing, nah. The comment, it's been said so many times. You play baseball, you play basketball, you play football. You do not play boxing, and it's burnt out, but it's true. Boxing takes an element of skill, sophistication, and frankly, Nate Robinson did not have it. Did not um, look from the looks of it. Even try to go get it.
Mm. Okay, so what you're saying is he didn't even look like he even trained for the fight. Cause like for me, I mean, you guys watched the fights. I saw the end result of the Jake Paul Nate Robinson fight, but I watched the entire Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight. So they said that he didn't even look good in the first round.
Yeah, so basically what happened with that fight was Jake Paul is a professional boxer. I'm not quite sure how he came about that title, but I know he had a couple bouts with like KSI and some other people possibly, right? So he flipped pro. He's been training boxing for, we're looking at least 3 years. Nate Robinson, he could have been training in boxing, but he's not taking his ability serious. That showed in the fight. So my main thing is he should have never gotten a pro license to begin with. Uh, so I think that was ridiculous. And it showed in the fight. He went out there. He tried to bum rush like a street fight, and you saw the results.
Okay.
Whoo! It was embarrassing. I will say
Okay.
this. Uh,
Okay. All right. Oh, did that come on the screen?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got a little video of. Okay, yeah, it's okay. Let me play this for y'all real quick. Yeah, this is I caught the actual clip of the knockout itself. Okay, so can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Uh,
can see it.
okay, all right. Here we go. I mean, oh Lord. Okay, and this I think this might be. I think he was knocked down in the first round as well. This because that knockdown looked different from the actual knockout.
So
Well, he
Nate
was
Robinson
knocked
went down
down
a
in the
few
first
times.
round. Yeah,
Yeah, he went down in a few
in
times.
in my opinion, he basically defeated himself. He came in and looked totally unprepared. Unprepared. His game plan was you were not able to spot his. At least not me. I was not able to spot any type of game plan he had about having this fight. It looked like he was trying to go in there and wrestle. It just looked, it looked like he was not supposed to be there.
So
You know,
common mistakes that he made were he more or less dropped his guards. If you look at him, his hands were out; they weren't protecting his chin. His chin was up. He was going for like a street fight. He was trying to use his athletic ability to throw an untrained punch at a sitting and waiting Jake Paul. As you can see, muscle instinct or muscle memory, should I say, took in to account what was going on, and he hit him with that overhand right, and down goes Robinson.
Down goes Nate.
yeah. And the first time it looked like he tripped and he already got hit in the back of the head because in the first round he rushed at him and he was tripping and just as Paul was kind of swinging, so he hit him in the back of the head, which made the second round knockup that much easier. And honestly, I don't even know if Jake Paul, what's his name? Is it Jake Paul?
It's
Yeah,
Jake
What's his
Paul.
name? Yeah, I don't even know if he can box or not. I'm not saying the guy can't. I'm saying Nate Robinson was so bad, I can't even tell if Jake Paul can box because Nate gave him nothing to work with.
he's
Well,
a he's a mediocre boxer. He's not, he's not anything that we would see in any real legitimized competition, which is why he's fighting YouTube stars and former athletes. He's kind of the show pony, right? But he's not a real boxer by yards. He's got some boxing ability, but he's not a real boxer by any stretch of the imagination.
yeah, and he actually because of this win, he actually started to talk some trash about knocking out Conor McGregor.
Yeah, in a boxing event, Conor McGregor would kill him. Conor McGregor has a great. He's got the basics down. He's very good with angles. Um, he's years ahead of Jake Paul. This not like it would just be funny to watch that.
Okay, so what you're saying is that this fight was so awful that Jake Paul shouldn't get cocky just yet.
No, no, no. Like I said, Nate Robinson had no business in this ring.
No, not at all. Not at
He
all.
he looked like he started. He looked like he started training yesterday.
Yeah,
Honestly, like it really looked that bad.
to go professional, you would have had to have mastered the basics. So it looks like Jake Paul has mastered the basics somewhat. Nate Robinson has no idea what the basics are. He didn't know how to keep his hands down. He didn't know at least head movement. Now, a lot of boxers don't keep their hands to their face. That's fine. It's a style thing. Nate Robinson didn't even look like that's what was going on. He just looked like he was just trying to throw wild punches and hit the guy and knock him out. He wasn't cool. He wasn't composed. Just wild and athletic, I guess.
Oh, okay. And yeah, shout out to War Child Games. Yeah, he has a lot to say about this fight. He's in a 2 round match. Jake Paul can box, amateur skills. Shoot, but we heard Donnie's take on it. So yeah, so Jake Paul got a little skill, but not that's not enough to actually go in the ring and with somebody serious, and especially not Conor McGregor.
No, he wouldn't. Jake Paul wouldn't. Is not when you think of boxing. If you take the top 100, Jake Paul wouldn't be in the top 100. He probably couldn't even hold any of their jock straps.
Yeah, but but he definitely seems like a kid that is gaining confidence. And also, I will mention this. I was like, Jake Paul. I was trying to see if it was like Logan Paul with a name change. It
That's his
turned out
older,
that's
younger brother.
yeah, that's his. That Jake Paul is Logan Paul's brother. Okay, so yeah, so Jake Paul scored one against Nate Robinson, and Nate Robinson has been pretty viral on the internet. I hope, really honestly, he has a tough skin because they've been giving him the business. And
Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, but at the end of the day, he should have been in more prepared.
yeah, yeah. That's what it was.
Hmm.
Like I said, he should have did this fight for Nate Robinson shouldn't have taken place for 2 or 3 years. So he's gonna get up.
You
He's
know,
probably gonna do another amateur. Well, it's too late. He's pro, so he's got to do another pro boxing match. And unless they feed him, some Lions food. And for those who don't know, the Lions food is like a bum competitor. Uh, there won't be any wins on Nate's record.
Okay.
but I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Ace Bang from because he made fun of this situation the best I've seen so far. So shout out to Ace Bang. He has a channel,
Oh,
and what
okay.
he did with this is hilarious. So you all should check it out. Ace Bang.
Oh, okay. All right. So now that that's out of the way, let's move on to Tyson and Jones. Okay. Now, now this photo. Let me ask both. We've all three of us have watched the fight. Is the action in this photo an indictment of the fight itself?
Uh, I mean, it happened in the fight, but realistically, the fight went a little bit more of how I guess I should have pictured the fight going. There was a lot of clinching. Roy Jones Jr. didn't want to do he didn't want to do a slugfest, which was smart on his end.
Oh yeah.
Mike Tyson was trying to get the motor going, and every time he got the motor going, Roy Jones clinched him and stopped him. So Roy Jones did what he was supposed to do, and Mike Tyson, being older, out of sync, out of step, couldn't really prevent the clinching like he would have, 2-3 decades ago. So all in all, I thought it was a great fight. But yeah, no, this is a little misleading if you look at the picture.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't.
Well, I was gonna say overall it was a great fight. Yes, Roy did do a lot of clinching, but he made the smart move. So he was being a great boxer. But even during the clinching, neither gentleman backed off of anything. So that was kind of even great to see. It was a lot of good body shots thrown. Both of them took it very well, but I think had there had been more separation, you know, uh, Roy Jones Jr. would have been in trouble. You know, but it definitely you could see the age on them as they moved about the ring from time to time.
Yeah, I didn't expect this fight to be a knockdown, drag out, slugfest. Guts and glory. I didn't expect to see two guys who were trying to compete for championship contendership. Just two guys who were trying to recapture their heyday. And my opinion of the fight, yeah, it kind of dragged a little bit. Yeah, it's not fighting; it's called boxing. But so yeah, Roy Jones did the right things to protect himself. Uh, but you're not just gonna sit there and get hit by Mike Tyson. you know, is still he's 54 years old, but still I don't think any one of us would willingly take a punch from that guy. Period. Is the thing is with Roy Jones, he did avoid getting killed. I would say.
Yeah, it's a stylistic matchup. Like if this was 20 years ago, this would have been a wonderful fight to see because Roy is not any kind of slouch whatsoever. He had the speed, he had the agility, he had God-given gifts most people just did not have. That man had a hook that was thrown like a jab, and he was connecting with people all the time, right? Mike Tyson was known for his ferocity. If you fought that man in the pocket, you were going to die. He hit you in the body, you stopped moving. He hit you in the head, you stopped moving. And he had a deadly accuracy that was just insane. So, right off the bat, when you saw that these two people were older gentlemen, right? I think the first thing that let me know, oh, this fight's not going to go how I thought it was Roy tried to throw one of his famous skip off jabs and it didn't quite go anywhere. Like he was a little stuck. So what a skip off jab is, you kind of throw the jab and you move off at a different angle. So he tried to take a different angle on Mike, and he just didn't get anywhere. And that's when I said, "Oh, this is not going to be how I thought it was going to be." It seemed like they both had a little molasses in their hands, but again, like I said, Roy clinched Mike Tyson because the worst place you want to be is in a pocket fight, an up close battle with Mike Tyson. So the best thing for you to do is to grab, slow him down, and not let him throw his full weight punch.
oh yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's some good analysis right there, Donnie. But I do want y'all to hear some commentary, like some after fight commentary on what Mike Tyson and Roy Jones both thought of the fight. I have some audio, and here it goes. Is a draw. Mr. Tyson, what do you think of that? I'm good with that. Think you won the fight? Yeah, but I'm good with the draw. Why? Because I entertained the crowd. The crowd was happy with it. We'll be back to you in a second. You happy with this draw? Hell no, I ain't never satisfied with a draw. I wear draws. I don't do draws. I like it. But the dude is so strong, man. And I understand why they say some things are bucket list. Because when he hits you, if it's his head, his punches, his body shots, don't matter. Everything hurts. So for me, I thought I did enough boxing on the outside to edge it out, but I'm cool with the draw. I mean, we just might have to try to do it again. But I don't know. The world champion. He said he might try to do it again, but I don't know. Because he said everything that Mike Tyson hit hurt. So that was his takeaway from being in a fight with Mike Tyson. He said it was just one of those bucket list things.
Yeah, you don't lose power when you get older. You increase in power. You lose speed. So when something connects with you, that bone is calcified. That bone has gotten harder as he's putting a lot more weight and effort into it. I wouldn't want to be hit by Mike Tyson 20 years ago. Could you imagine getting hit by that man now?
And
go ahead, Ron. I was just gonna say then or now. Neither one sound like a good idea to me.
Especially at an older age.
Because it ain't like Roy Jones lacked in skill or anything, or his age just took completely away. You can still tell that Roy Jones still had a lot of his skill. But
he had flashes of greatness. He just, after a certain point, and I don't know if this was the cardio aspect or this was just the effect of Mike Tyson's punches. He just couldn't. He had a little molasses in him, so you could see he threw a couple of his famous sets of punches where he would Mike kind of step in on him, and he threw a quick 3 uppercuts and a hook and tried to get off. And he threw one of them towards the later rounds. It looked great, and then Mike caught his ass with a body shot, and he slowed down again.
Yeah, he had some flashes of glory. The way he dropped the shoulder like he did, and a few years ago he had really even more in his prime. He had a few flashes of glory in there. I give him that, but that's just a tough fight at the end of the day. And when you beating the other folks, they move a little bit differently. Hitting Mike ain't the same as hitting them other folks he done beat up on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Donnie kind of had mentioned a glimpse of this, but okay, granted, let's say it was 20 years ago. Okay, these guys decided to fight 20 years ago. Who would you have in that fight? Me personally, I got Mike. What about you guys?
I'm a Roy Jones fan. Roy Jones in his prime, in his heyday.
Well, let me put it like this: not even 20 years ago. Their primes, both their prime. I'm talking about Mike Tyson before Buster Douglas, before incarceration.
Oh, you talking 19-year-old Mike Tyson?
Well, let's do it like that. Let's roll it back. The one that knocked out Michael Spinks. That Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones at the height of his career.
I'm a Mike Tyson fan. Even when I boxed, I modeled my boxing off of Mike Tyson because I just didn't have Roy's ability, right? But I feel like Roy was the better dynamic fighter. A lot of times people praise Mike Tyson because he was the most explosive. phenomenal fighter. You knew you were going to Mike Tyson fight, somebody was going down, right?
Mhm.
Um, Roy Jones could knock the best of them out, but he had a little bit more of a measured out game plan, which is probably why he lasted longer in boxing. Um, I, I personally feel like that would have been a Roy Jones fight. If Roy could have took him past the fifth round, it'd have been all Roy. If he couldn't escape Mike Tyson for them 5 rounds, then yeah, then night night
Uh,
Grayson.
well, when you're talking about Mike Tyson in his prime, you're talking about Mike Tyson with power and speed.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Power is also in his prime. He didn't have a lung ability, so and he talks about it kind of ad nauseum. If you ever watch any of his documentaries, he
yeah.
says that he just couldn't breathe, so he had to push the fights how he did because he couldn't sink it later into the deeper rounds.
Hmm. So you think that will happen between him and Lennox?
Yeah, that's part of it.
Man,
Plus, at that point, Peekaboo style had really just been overanalyzed, so people were kind of taking shots at him, destroying it.
Yeah,
uh,
but the
um,
reason. Okay, go ahead, Roger.
now I'm gonna say prime versus prime. Man, ain't nobody beating Mike. That's just what it is. And I know there's fans of Ali who would disagree, but prime versus prime, nobody's beating him. I'm not gonna even say Roy wasn't a better boxer because I was a Roy Jones fan myself. But ain't nobody beating Tyson. You're not gonna knock him down like that, and he will knock you down.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was a killer. Like he was a young, impulsive. I mean, he was a ring intelligent, but he was a young, impulsive, crazy pit bull ass killer that went in for the kill. It's just, I mean, just like Donnie said, if you can get him past a certain amount of rounds, then you probably have a chance at survival. Like Buster Douglas kind of drug him down until he was able to put him down. But I believe that if Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas ever had a rematch, Mike Tyson would have killed him.
Well, yeah, Mike
But
Tyson
you know
only
what
lost
though?
Buster Douglas fight because he was getting high and messing off before that fight.
Yeah, he
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 wasn't
he
taking
did
training
no
serious. He
training
was
at
killing.
all. Here's my thing. When if you look at the Buster Douglas fight and how long Mike lasted, and people still say that the count was fast. He did all that and he didn't even train. You see what I'm saying? So the man took on a professional boxer like that, and the count was iffy, and he didn't train at all.
Mm.
So I mean, if he can do all that when he don't train, what can he do when he does train? We know he does. He knocks people out.
Yeah.
So
So
prime versus prime, I love Roy Jones Jr. I ain't never betting against Mike. Period. You know what I'm
y'all must have
saying?
forgot. I had to get that one out. Body head entertainment. I get shots to the body, and then I put it
I'm,
in
I'm
your head. You know.
I'm just gonna bring out the rooster punch. If any of y'all saw that man put both of his hands behind his back, lean forward, and catch people's jaw, you would know. Listen, this we not talking a dude who's just, well, no, we talking two monstrous fighters who really could do anything. If you look at that man, like I said, he threw a hook like it was a jab and was
Yeah.
fast enough to catch you.
Yeah. Roy Jones was no joke. Period. Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I know about Roy Jones from back in the day. Yeah, he wasn't no joke. Period. He had some epic fights too. You know, and really, honestly, both of these gentlemen deserve, the athletic world and boxing world's respect for, stepping them back in. And even though it wasn't a very high paced fight, and yeah, it was like a lot of it was clinching. I even said a couple times during the fight, "Look at this hug fest." But
Dancing.
yeah, let me hug you. But I mean, it's boxing. It's not fighting. It's boxing, and I feel like even though that happened, both of these guys deserve a round of applause for getting through that fight. Because Roy Jones, like, look at that look on his face. That man about to die from exhaustion.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell both of them put the work in, and they put what they could in. It was a very interesting fight. Yes, there was more grappling than people would have wanted, but at the end of the day, the fact that even when they was hugged up tight, they still was throwing shots at each other, and neither one ever backed off. So they made it a great fight to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you could see two killers ring still trying to kill.
Mm.
It's two gorillas.
Oh yeah, two warriors, certified tough guys,
But
and
I do find it funny that Roy was running around on these press conferences talking about he gets still but in the ring with his students and the people at his camp giving him hell. And then he looked like he was a lot more out of shape than Mike. So, but yeah, go ahead.
yeah, but it's like I enjoy seeing Mike Tyson and Roy Jones get back in the ring again. Like I said, I didn't expect a knockdown, drag out fight from two young lions. I did expect a smarter fight from two older, more experienced fighters. And yeah, if Roy Jones is displeased with a draw, he can feel free to do it again. You
Well,
know.
I think Mike is going to keep pushing his line because this was called the Legends League. So I'm very curious if they're going to continue to do these older fighter matchups. And in addition to that, what are they doing in terms of steroid testosterone usage? Are these people getting tested? It's an exhibition match, so therefore, really, they don't need to. I wonder what is going on with this whole dynamic. But rest assured, there's going to be more Mike Tyson fights, which is hilarious.
Oh yeah. I believe so. And this fight originally was supposed to be Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis.
Lennox
Originally,
didn't.
yeah, I think Lennox backed out, or something happened. I think money got screwed. You know how money is. Money will tear down anything. But Roy Jones was the one that actually stepped up. But then, like when he was started watching training videos, he was like,
Now, who I would want to see, uh, and I'm curious how this would go, is I want to see a James Tony.
James Tony. Oh, yeah, James Tony got like a jaw of steel. Like I don't think
What
he's ever been knocked out.
James Tony is a dude who is um, he didn't even train for a lot of his fights, and he was just killing dudes because he just knew the angle of James Tony. If you watch James Tony fight, it always looked like he always knew what that person was going to do before they did it. So he would step off and move slightly out the way of a punch as it came and counterpunch you, bow, knock you right out, boom. And I just would want to see a James Tony Mike Tyson fight because I know that they would both go at it, and I want to see what James Tony at his old ass age would do with Mike Tyson. They hand him $1 million. I know James Tony's gonna take it.
Oh yeah. Uh, oh yeah. You know what? You gave me something to think about too, man. Yeah, that would be an excellent fight. Yeah, especially two grizzly old guys. You know, you know, in their ways. Like like when James Tony tried to do MMA, Randy Couture did the smart thing. He didn't try to stand up with him. He took him to the ground.
Yeah, Randy Couture would have died that day, and he knew that. So that was his best option to take that man down with the shoestring tackle.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it
Which
looks like Tyson is definitely ready for more fights. Based on the way he was, he now Roy. I don't think he wanted no more. He just didn't want to just come flat out and say I don't want no more. But Tyson was ready. He ready for some more. So I'm sure it's coming on his side.
Well, he did that interview a while back talking about some, he want to die a warrior, So this right here is I guess him satiating his urge. He may get his wish. He might die a warrior, you know.
Hilarious. I can't wait to see
But
it.
but also Mike Tyson said he smoked out before the fight. He said it's just a part of who I am. Like I'm talking about weed.
Wow.
Yes. Yes, he got baked the fuck out before he went out there and boxed Roy Jones.
Yeah, he wasn't the first person to do it. They said
Yeah,
relaxes the backstage.
yeah,
The Diaz brothers do it. They've been caught a couple times smoking weed before high profile fights, getting high as a kite, then going out into the ring and just destroying people. So, different strokes.
yeah. Different stroke for different
It's
folks.
hard. It's hard to say Mike doing anything in the ring wrong. You know what I'm saying? Anything associated with the ring, it's hard to say he doing it wrong.
Yeah, and also like and it shows you that the effects of marijuana maybe are not as bad as everyone say it is. I mean, I can speak from experience. I used to smoke and work out when I was younger. You know, hit blunt, start lifting weight, doing push-ups and shit. So I mean, it's it's very possible. Like the radio DJs, like I don't like Atlanta radio DJs because they sound so sheepish. Oh, this explains a lot. It was getting hot before the rain. I'm like, the dude's older. It was gonna be like that anyway. People don't think, but hey, shout out to the Atlanta disc jockeys. But anyway, I think this is about it. Is this was kind of a this was an event. I'll tell you that much. And like the most talked about moment isn't even the Tyson Jones fight. That's the funny part.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but what do you think is next for a guy like Nate Robinson? You think he's just gonna go and go off into the sunset, and hopefully no one gives him too hard a time when he goes out in public in 10 years at the grocery store? I'm like, well, aren't you Nate Robinson, that guy that got knocked the f out?
He's going to train. He's going to ask for a rematch. He's going to get his ass beat again. Hopefully, with less of an internet presence. But yeah, he's not done by a long shot.
Who, Nate Robinson?
Yeah, nah, Nate Robinson ain't quit. He ain't the type. That you got to think this is a dude who has an NFL career in addition to NFL career in addition to his NBA career, and then he picked up boxing. He's not gonna give it up that easy. He took this L. You can't go out on that note. That's just horrible.
Yeah, because that's if he doesn't come back, that's how he's gonna be remembered. I mean, and that's totally his decision. But what about the other two fights? I mean, we didn't mention anything about them.
Butter
Well,
Jack
well,
and
let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. Nate better go back to doing interviews. That's what Nate better do. You know what I'm saying? Or he better go train. One of the two. But one of those have to happen. He need to go do some more interviews. He was all right with his little show. Well, not little show. But he was good with his show where he was interviewing people. Or he better go train. And he better go train for real. Because I don't know. He didn't look like a boxer to me. That's all I'm gonna say. He did not look like a boxer when I saw him.
Okay, no, that didn't look like boxing at all. And the only one that probably did worse than Nate Robinson is this guy named Brian Sutherland. Like, just let me see if I can look it up real quick. Hold on. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna hit me with any copyright. That fight's so old. Brian Sutherland. Brian Sutherland, boxer. All right. The story of Brian Sutherland, the worst boxer ever. So I mean, like at least Nate Robinson got through one round. Let me see. Do they have the video on this thing or what? Uh, yeah, I'm gonna. Uh, uh, look. This video is no longer available due to a copyright claim by CS. Okay, yeah. Okay. So anyway, people, I'll put the link in the description. I'm not going to get this channel in any kind of copyright trouble. Okay. But that's a fun watch too. And hopefully if Nate Robinson ever runs across this video and he hits that link, he'll really discover that he has nothing bad. Well, I don't know. He still has something to kind of pick. He still has to pick his face up off the ground. But once he looks at this fight, he probably feel just maybe 1% better. But anyway, this has been a great discussion. I enjoyed the fight. It was a little slow for me, but it was expected. What about you guys? Okay, all right. Well, they must be removed right now, but go ahead. Go ahead, Donnie.
Sorry, I missed that. What was that?
No, I'm just saying, like, no, what I was saying was like, I like, even though the fight didn't go as fast paced as I expected it. I mean, well, not it didn't go that fast paced. I did expect it to go the way it did. I like I say, I enjoyed watching the fight, watching those two get back in the ring again, and if they do it again, I'll probably watch that fight too. So, what about
Yeah,
you?
yeah. No, I watched it again. I'm not gonna pay for it. I didn't pay for it this last time, but I watch it again. As you know,
Okay,
I stream it on my channel, so yeah. Mm-mm. Nah, I wouldn't pay for it, but I watch it again.
all right, Roger. What about you? Roger must be removed right now. Well, anyway, this about wraps it up for us. We just this was our discussion on the black dimension of the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight, which was highly anticipated. One thing that the fight wasn't was a complete massacre in Mike Tyson's favor, like a lot of people thought it was going to be. And it really goes to show you that don't really you can't really just offhand judge things until it actually happens. Just like with, I guess, Nate Robinson and Jake Paul. I think that for all the stuff that Nate Robinson talked, people expected him to do a lot better. But this is it was a good event overall. So anyway, this pretty much it for right now. I'm Kev, and that's Donnie over there. And on behalf of Roger, you've been pulled into the black dimension. Hopefully, you can find your way out. Good evening.